Hey guys, I'm Brian.
And I'm Terry.
And welcome back to the Forest to Farm project. Today we're at Terry's old house and we're going to be putting some flooring down.
Yes sir, we got to do some final preps and then we're going to lay this Advantech. It's about time. We're ready to get this kitchen rolling.
Yeah, very much so.
We got to get on the property and get building some houses. Everybody's been asking when we're going to build them houses. As soon as possible.
Very soon.
Yes.
There's a lot of stuff in the works that you guys don't know about. And we got to get moving.
Yes sir, got to put it in high gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, enjoy.
Okay, so we have to come in here and figure out how are we going to make this Advantech fit this floor, fit around doors, fit into these wall spaces. We took our little oscillating tool here and we made a straight line and cut this thing off nice and straight. Now we got to get this Advantech to fit up to that and fit around this door casing. This molding and this baseboard and whatnot were too low. We could not get the Advantech under it, so we laid our oscillating tool down and set this up close to it, and then we just cut the whole thing out and then slid this up under there. Same thing over here. Now we've laid this floor down. We want to start out with a good straight line, at least on one wall. So we laid this floor out, pushed it over where we thought it needed to be, made sure that it was fitting tight right here by this door, because when you come in and out that door, that's going to be a major traffic zone and there'll be no quarter round over that. You could put a little board over it if you needed to, and we may do something like that, just a little trim of some kind to protect the edge of the new flooring. But we've got it good and tight here. We came back over here to the doorway. We measured, and down through here, it's not perfectly straight, but we got pretty much 5 inches all the way down through here. So what we need to do is notch this flooring out far enough over here and deep enough that it can slide up into this space and get up against that hardwood flooring. We took our square and we lined it up with the edge of there, just eyeballing it, drew a line here, take our stick rule, and we measured, and it was between 5 and 5 1/8 inches down through here. So it's off a little bit, but that little tiny gap is not going to matter because it's going to be covered by the transition piece. So we just decided to go with the shortest distance, which is 5 inches. We're marking that here. Now we can pull this piece out. We can square it off, cut it out, and it'll slide up and be in place and should work out. Prior to cutting that floor out, when we had everything out of here, we decided we want to know exactly where these joists are at before we put the Advantech down, because we want to make sure that when we run a screw through this Advantech, we don't miss the floor joist and then have to redo it and pull the screws back out and have holes all over and be wasting time. So we came in and we located where each joist is, and I literally took a battery drill and ran a screw down where I thought it was, and you can feel it grabbing because it's struggling all the way through, and then ran it either side of that until we found where it was just going through that 1/2 inch subfloor plywood and not through the joist, and you could tell it would easily go through once it breaks through the other side of it, and you knew you were either side. And then we marked the center of these joists. Well, the Advantech's going to cover them up, so we drew a line with a circle, and we know that's our line. That is a joist. There's one there, we forgot to put the circle on. We got a couple more to mark yet, but we marked them all the way down through here. And then we marked it, did the same thing on the other side, and then we took a straight edge. So if you see this pencil mark, we literally drew a line from one side to the other. Now when we do lay this piece of Advantech down, which we still got to cut it out for that doorway, and it's going to slide that direction, but then we can come in here and we can take our level and we can line it up with that mark on the wall, and we can line it up with the mark on the floor, come in here with our pencil and just mark a line and shoot the screws down. And that way we know we're on the joist, or we should be. At least it's a better chance we hit it than if we don't do that. Additionally, in a previous video you saw where we braced the floor system. We put a T under there and bolted it to the, or screwed it to the bottom of the joist to help pull them straight and make the floor system stiff. There's still a couple of little spots that have a little bit of a dip where the joists just dip down a little bit, and we're going to show you how you fix that. So let's get to it. Okay guys, we're fixing to put down this Advantech, but we're not going to follow the exact specifications that they would give you with the product, because that's for a new construction where the joists are laid off properly. And if you'll look down here on the floor, we've got a hole here, here, here. Each one of those little black circles requires a screw. Then you come out here, these circles are for 16 inches off of that first line. This is for if it was 19.2 inches. This is for 2 foot on center. So we do have to get that many screws in it, just like that is. But our centers are not where their holes are marked, because this is a 50-year-old house. On top of that, you would glue this stuff down, and they have specifications you have to meet, a certain type of glue, and to make it have the warranty and guarantee that it won't squeak and whatnot. Well, this is going on top of a 15-30 seconds, which is basically a 1/2 inch plywood that's already existing. That's the way it goes throughout the house, and there's hardwood. We want to pretty much match that hardwood, so that's why we went with the Advantech. So we're going to put a floating floor on top of this, and we want it to be as close to that hardwood level as possible. This isn't your typical installations, so we're really not going to show you the exact way to do it. This is what we're having to do to make it work in our application. Just don't think that this is the way you would do it in a new construction. If you're doing it in an old house, you just got to make it work out. As long as you get the same number of screws every 16 inches, I'm sure you're going to be doing as good as you can in an old house. And then you have to screw the edge. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different, well 9 if we didn't cut the one off, different places you need to screw the edges. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places every 16 inches. So we're going to do that. It's just not going to be on their little circles. It's going to be wherever we have to hit a joist. One spec that we will follow on this job is Advantech says put an 1/8 inch gap between each of their panels. We're going to do that between here and the hardwood as well. We've got an 1 3/4 threshold that's going to go here, partially on the hardwood, partially on the Advantech, and holding our floating floor. So we're going to go ahead and give that 1/8 inch gap there. We've got 2 more sheets here that we're putting 1/8 inch gaps in as well, and then we're going to screw it to the floor. We made these marks on the wall where we know where our joists are at, because we ain't superhuman. We can't see through that wood. So we're just going to go ahead and mark it. That way we know we're on the joist. Additionally, I want to show you this. As we talked earlier, we put some little, I guess they're about 1/16 inch shims. It's not much. We placed them on top of the joists wherever there was a little bit of a low spot where the joists were dipping just a little bit. Here, this whole joist from about right there on was. This was normal, everything else was level, and then we had a little bit of a dip right here and a little bit of a dip right there. It's a 50-year-old house, you're going to have that. So anyway, let's get to screwing this floor down. All right, well, we got all that Advantech done in what, one day?
Yeah.
Has it been all day?
Feels like a lot longer than that. What we had running to do this morning, we actually had to go buy some glue and make sure we had enough screws. The glue we used, we didn't glue it down, but we did glue the joints. And the glue we used is Loctite Premium Construction Adhesive. The reason we went with this is it adheres to the specs put forth by Huber Corporation, or Advantech's parent company. And those specs are ASTM D3498 and something else. But
it's on their PDF. If you go to their website,
we'll link you to the PDF that gives you the specs on the adhesive you need. And then the screws we use, for those of you wondering, they are just your tan exterior deck screws, and they are number 10s by 3 inch. And they
the reason we went with 3 inches because our floor had the
30 seconds. So
subfloor.
We had an inch and a half or inch and a quarter of subfloor to get through before we got to the joists, and we wanted to make sure we got a good bite into those joists. By having the 3 inch screws, there was no question we were going to get good penetration.
No question about the Advantech either. This stuff is solid.
Man, this floor is 10 times more solid than it was.
Easy.
Might have something to do with 300 screws in it too.
Yeah, literally. Not that many in it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work.
About 50 per sheet.
Yeah. We got it down. Now we can start moving forward. Next stage is either a coat of paint to see how it looks, or start building cabinets.
A little bit of both.
Yeah. So
we can put the washer and dryer in here. We can put the stove in here.
It's going to be
we
nice.
build the cabinets. We don't have to move them.
Yeah. It's going to start actually looking more like a kitchen instead of an empty shell.
We might roll a refrigerator in here.
That's a lot of work.
Yeah.
We'll wait on that.
We don't have to move it around.
No. Speaking of refrigerator has food, and I'm hungry. So let's wrap this up.
All right.
We're going to get some food. You guys have a good one. Thanks for watching. We really enjoyed making this. We hope you guys enjoyed watching it.
See you next time.
Have a good one.